Now over to my right, we have Commissioner Harold Jenkins joining us from Martin County Commission, and very good to have him. Commissioner Jenkins, you co-sponsored this meet and greet with Councilwoman Susan Gibbs Thomas. How are you doing this evening?
I'm doing fine. How are you?
Good to see you.
Now that I'm sitting down.
Yes, have a seat. I got a seat.
Yeah.
So, you know, I listened to the Board of County Commission meeting on Tuesday, and it's a very contentious issue indeed. But as I sat there and listened, myself, I couldn't understand why Indiantown is even considering breaking off from the Martin County Fire Rescue, and I think that's really the question.
It is.
And you had brought a flyer, and let's go over some of those questions and answers for folks that are listening at home. Very informative. What level of training will the volunteers have in Indiantown compared to Martin County?
It's a question that I haven't heard the answer to.
You haven't heard the answer to.
Right.
And Martin County they're fully trained, they're cross-trained, they're EMTs and fire personnel, fire rescue personnel,
right.
firefighters.
And they have to, for us to attain ISO, which if you ask me what that means, I can't remember. It's written, it's on there.
Insurance Service Office.
Okay, and that rating basically sets our homeowners insurance rates, right? So if they can't achieve what we can achieve, and I can't see they doing that by with a hybrid system, it can't do anything but increase. So any small savings is going to be literally eaten up with that. So let's say they do save a little bit, and this increases a little bit, and we have a net zero. Why?
What's the point?
Exactly.
And you have less services.
And I think that's what the point of everybody that's here is. What's the point? What's the benefit?
Yeah, I was going to say, Commissioner Jenkins, you've just spoken to several hundred people here. What are their concerns? What are they saying to you? What are their questions?
Why? Is there any just cause to even explore this? I can't come up with one. You know, if they were receiving bad service or somehow our costs were out of line, I could see that, but they're not. I tell you what, the last guy that just walked up there in the blue pants asked me a question that was very intuitive when now I'm thinking about it. He says, how many complaints of our Indiantown Fire Rescue does Martin County receive? Right? Good question. I can't say zero because I don't know that for a fact. I've never heard of anybody. And I guarantee you, in my district, in District 3, which are very vocal folks,
right.
If there was something, even the most minor thing, I guarantee my office would have heard about it. You know, and Colleen, my aide, would have had to field some problem. I have never, you know, in the 5 years or 4.5 years I've been doing this, heard any complaint from anybody in the county, for that matter. So
I haven't either, and I've asked each of the guests that has been sitting in that seat you're in right now, and same answer.
Yeah.
The services have been exemplary.
Right.
One of the women, they saved her life. She had a heart attack. Saved her life.
I had a heart attack. No, 4.
You had a heart attack.
I got a ride to the hospital.
A ride in the hospital, and every time a fire truck goes out, an ambulance follows it.
Absolutely.
And that's Martin County. It's not going to be the same here, and that's the difference.
Well, and we actually have paramedics. If the ambulance by chance is tied up, we have paramedics on our ambulance. On our fire trucks. So the fire truck itself can be the initial response to a medical call. So people don't understand that either. So.
And Taryn Krista said 85% of the calls are medical related. Yeah. They're not fires. So that's the other thing that I think you brought out is you have pumper trucks and brush fire trucks, fighting trucks. You know, that's something with the village. They're talking about 1 fire engine and 2 ambulances. What happens with the brush fires? And Indiantown just had a brush fire recently. So,
well, I'll take it a step further. We have a utility that is not as reliable as maybe it should be until they do some investment. One of the reasons we have the tanker trucks here, we have 2 tanker trucks here, is because of the unreliable utility. You know, fire flow from a fire hydrant. Right. You know, the pipes in the ground may be so antiquated, so you got pressure is one thing, but you know, those pump truck or the tanker trucks actually draw water, so you have negative pressure on pipes. So maybe that's another reason why we have a higher level of apparatus out here anyway. So
because you're prepared for a breakdown
every
or whatever.
eventuality. We have all, forest land or undeveloped land more than anywhere in the county. So that's brush trucks.
And residents have brought that up. Why aren't we working on the water plant, the water system first? That's something that they're
It
very
seems
concerned with.
logical that if you had a dilapidated utility, that maybe you should focus your financial attention on that rather than trying to upset the apple cart on something that's perfectly fine. So I don't.
Were you
I don't know.
surprised at the county that this even came up as an issue at the county level?
No, yeah, I am. I just it's illogical, right?
Well-
I'm a very logical person. This doesn't make a lot of logic. So
And the flyer that you brought talked about FPL, and we've brought this up before here on this broadcast. But Indiantown pays $5.35 million for the municipal taxing unit, and that's the unit that pays for the fire services. But of that, FPL, one company, pays $4.7 million, 87%. The actual residents of Indiantown are paying $231,000, $665. And FPL, by the way, needs specialized emergency services that Martin County can provide.
that I don't think one fire truck and 2 ambulances could take care of. So
And
how are you doing that?
And one of the residents said they'll pick up and leave. She said, I believe that they will pick up and leave, and then we're going to lose that $4.7 million that FPL's been paying. So, there's a lot of issues here that's surprising. And, the one thing that I've overwhelmingly heard is everybody said, stop, slow down. We need to rethink this. What is the rush? Why? Why now? So, Commissioner Jenkins, this is wonderful that you came out this evening. I know you've been talking over there to a lot of different people, and I'm sure that all of them are very concerned.
Well, the original plan was that we were going to have a joint meeting out here, which I was all for. But after a not so successful commission meeting, it was quite apparent that the village didn't have interest in it. And honestly, I don't think a few of my commissioners kind of lost a little bit of direction on that too. So that's how Susan and I got together. We got to do something. Indiantown residents are my constituents as well as they are with Susan's.
Right.
So, we've had a wonderful time out here meeting. I've met people that I've never met before that actually have lived here.
Yes.
I'm sure we've crossed paths. I've lived
Right.
here my whole life. They've lived, so it's kind of interesting. And that's what my job is, right?
That's right. It
So-
is. It is. And you're
Yeah.
you're a wonderful person for meet and greet.
yeah,
So
yeah.
talk about this a little bit, because you did at the county commission meeting. Indiantown wants Martin County to give them a further break on the cost. What does that mean to the rest of the county?
Well, for one, we can't legally do it. Okay, so and the misconception that, and Mr. Brown seems to is of a mind that if he says it enough times, it becomes true. Our system is a system. It's not just that firehouse. That firehouse is just part of the overall system. We have 11 firehouses. We have 330 employees, I believe, right?
Okay.
In fire rescue. Okay, those are not only firefighters and paramedics. Those are administrators. Those are the dive team. Those are the extraction team.
Right.
Where they have a whole semi, just for extracting people out of crumbling buildings or car crashes with the jaws of life. We have the hazmat team, which, by the way, this is an industrial community.
Yes.
I think maybe hazmat's pretty important.
Yes.
So we have a hazmat team. We have all these specialized teams, dive teams. We got a great big lake out there that we need dive teams for with the Florida Power and Light
That's
Plant.
right.
So that's part of the system. That's part of what you're paying for. You're paying for all of that. You're paying for the ladder truck. We have, I think, don't quote me on this, 3 ladder trucks in Martin County. When a ladder truck has to respond out here, that's part of the system so it's
They're
not,
already paying for it.
It's
It's not
not
extra.
just the red trucks that sit in that building over there with the thing. And by the way, let me add something else. The level of service Indiantown has to receive just because of its geographic area, is dramatically greater than the rest of the 10 stations around the county. They have 7 people, not 5. They have 2 ambulances, not 1. I think the one on 76 has 2.
Okay.
But they have brush trucks, they have tanker trucks, they've got all these apparatus out here. So they're
You can respond at any
what
time.
we have, we can respond to almost anything out here. So
If Indiantown basically goes their own way and it does either a hybrid or hires their own emergency services, will that station, the county station, still remain out in this area?
I don't believe so.
Okay.
I think it'll go further west. I think it'll go I'm just guessing. This is
Right.
my whole deal. We haven't had a discussion about it, but I would assume it'll be a station will be potentially a new station will be somewhere between Western Palm City and northern Indiantown.
Okay.
Somewhere out Fox Brown area or something like that. So we can respond. Then that becomes my job to make sure that my constituents outside the village boundary, that their services are not diminished or we deal with it as best
Right.
as best as we possibly can.
Right,
So, which also throws another monkey wrench is how do we deal with the people out by the lake? They're still in my district.
Right.
You know,
On the other side.
and so what do we respond to Hope Sound? I don't think so. So, that's a challenge that we've got to do. So them making this decision, like I told everybody when we were talking, this isn't just going to affect Indiantown.
Right.
It's going to affect the rest of the taxpayers of Martin County.
It certainly
you know,
will. It certainly will.
And so I would hope that the village council would take that into consideration. Why are you, anyway.
Well, the Martin County Fire Rescue is a well-oiled machine, and as you said, it will affect the taxes for the rest of the county as well. If Indiantown's paying $5.35 million, they pull out, the rest of the county still has to pay that because you're not going to get rid of this station at all. It's just, it may be moved, as you said, but we're still going to have all the expenses. And the fact of the matter is, if Indiantown has a specialized emergency, I'll call it, Martin County is going to have to charge them for it. Right now, it's included in that cost.
Yeah.
So,
Right.
because Indiantown's not going to have the equipment to be able to handle that emergency.
Mutual aid means mutual. If they're
Right.
going to respond to our area with their one fire truck and 2 ambulances, that's one thing. But once anything above and beyond that comes the bill. What happens when Trauma Hawk lands in the middle of
That's right.
town and sends somebody? I
So I said,
I don't know what that costs, but I bet you it's a whole bunch.
I bet you it's a whole
Yeah,
bunch too.
yeah.
I bet you it's a whole bunch too.
Yeah. So
And even if there's a cost savings, I said, there isn't one person that's going to say their loved one was worth that cost savings
Yeah.
because they couldn't get
Right.
emergency services there. So
Right.
thank you, Commissioner
Okay.
Jenkins.